In annexed Crimea, in the context of a full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, the situation in the civilian sector is becoming increasingly complicated. The region is under increased control of security forces and the military. They are introducing various restrictions for local residents and increasing inspections of people and vehicles. Martial law has not been officially declared on the Crimean peninsula, as it has on mainland Ukraine. Russia does not recognize its full-scale invasion of Ukraine as a war, but in fact, life on the peninsula has long been organized as in wartime. In the regions, the military is strengthening its positions and civilians are increasingly being recruited to serve them. In Crimea, workers of enterprises, students, pupils, and even vacationers are being encouraged to support a full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation. In the Saki Sanatorium Northern Lights, the guests are involved in weaving nets for the Russian military participating in the war with Ukraine. The nets are woven, in particular, for the group of troops in the Kherson direction. Everyone weaves nets with pleasure, both adults and children. For each race, we give 1 or 2 nets to our fighters, all for the sake of victory, says the director of the sanatorium, Oleg Kireshin. Students in Crimea are also being forced to volunteer for the needs of the Russian military, reports the Ukrainian Center for National Resistance. According to him, all Russian universities in Crimea have received orders according to which students are forced to complete mandatory work hours, without which it is impossible to close a session or complete their studies. Instead of studying, there was forced work, making camouflage nets, trench candles and twists for the occupiers, the statement said. Educational institutions in Crimea do not publicly report such actions. And in Zankoi, students from the local vocational college are being recruited to work in Russian army warehouses, the Yellow Ribbon Civil Movement says. Teachers at the Zankoi Vocational College offered students unofficial specialized part-time work, which ultimately turned out to be work in warehouses of the Russian armed forces. As far as we understand, this practice has been going on for over a year. There is little hope that the occupation administration will take any measures. Therefore, we urge the students' parents to be very careful, the statement said. The Yellow Ribbon calls on Crimeans whose children are studying in technical specialties to pay attention to the risk that they may be forced to work at military facilities, promising good grades or big money. The Zankoi Vocational College does not publicly report on such practices. This educational institution actively conducts ideological classes with students, conversations about the important and patriotic actions. In Crimea, employees of the Military Investigative Department, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and representatives of military commissariats are conducting raids at construction sites to identify illegal migrants. Police patrols have also been increased to maintain public order on the streets, at venues where public and mass events are taking place, as well as at critical facilities, government agencies and educational institutions. Thus, the Russian authorities are creating a repressive regime in Crimea. This is causing public discontent. This move is even expected to lead to an uprising in Crimea against the Russian authorities.
3 of Moscow's 4 airports suspended flights Wednesday as Ukrainian drones targeted the Russian capital, authorities said. Domodedovo and Zhukovsky airports halted both inbound and outbound flights, while Sheremetyevo suspended arrivals but allowed some departures on a case-by-case basis, according to Artyom Koronyako, a spokesperson for Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency. Those restrictions were introduced as Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said air defenses downed 3 drones on approach to the city. Emergency services are working at the crash sites, Sobyanin wrote on Telegram, without specifying locations. On Thursday, flights were halted at multiple Moscow airports, Russia's aviation authority Rosaviatsia said. Planes have been grounded at the city's main Sheremetyevo airport, as well as at Nukovo, Domodedovo and Zhukovsky, Rosaviatsia said on Telegram. The airspace restrictions were lifted less than an hour later, Rosaviatsia said. The attack came a day after 27 drones were launched towards the city, according to the mayor. Russia deployed a record number of drones against Ukraine at the weekend, Kiev said Sunday. The two countries have deployed drones against one another on a near-daily basis since Russia launched its military offensive on Ukraine more than 3 years ago, but Moscow has been rarely impacted. Russian air defense systems shot down 105 Ukrainian drones overnight on May 22, including 35 intercepted over Moscow Oblast, the Russian Defense Ministry has claimed. From midnight to 5:30 Moscow time, air defense systems on duty destroyed and intercepted 105 Ukrainian aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles, the statement said. Including 35 drones were shot down over the capital region, 4 over the Oryol region, 12 over the Kursk region, 11 over the Belgorod region, and 10 over the Tula region. 9 drones were destroyed over the territory of the Kaluga region, 7 over the Voronezh region, 3 over the territories of the Lipetsk and Smolensk regions, and 1 over the territory of the Bryansk region. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said that all the drones were flying toward the Russian capital. Due to the drone attack, all 4 Moscow airports, Sheremetyevo, Nukovo, Domodedovo and Zhukovsky, as well as airports in Tambov and Vladimir were temporarily closed. Other Ukrainian drones were also shot down over the Oryol, Kursk, Belgorod, Tula, Kaluga, Voronezh, Lipetsk, Smolensk and Bryansk oblasts, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Tula Oblast Governor Dmitry Milyev said one of the drones crashed into the roof of an apartment building in Tula. The attack also damaged other residential and non-residential buildings, he said. Russian authorities haven't reported any other damage or reported any casualties. While Russia, Ukraine, the United States and European powers consider the sequencing of a possible end to the more than 3-year conflict in Ukraine, the drone war continues and fighting is intensifying in some key areas of the front.